Alrighty, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good evening. How are we all? And here
Well,
we have the amazing Mr. Peter Goldstein. So I'm hoping we've got a few people joining us today to hear this amazing man speak and hear all about this amazing project. So I'm still waiting to see if there's anyone. Hello, Laurie. Yes, I see someone watching. Yes, please give us a like and a love this morning because that's going to help people find the notification that we are live, be able to find the video, and so they'll be able to join us. So, welcome, Peter.
well, thank you so much, Karen. Such an honor to be here with you.
No, it's an honour to have you here speaking with us today. So,
Thank you.
everybody, please meet Peter. He is the founder and CSO at weDIDit.health. You might have seen me or you might have seen other people talking about this amazing project that is going on. So, I thought I would bring Peter on today to talk about it. Peter and the weDIDit.health team have a very similar mission to mine here at the Plant Power Coach, and that is really to impact more people on this planet to switch to healthy plant based eating for their health, to end animal cruelty, to help the planet because, we are going to end up in a climate crisis if we don't do anything about it. But Peter and his team have a very unique approach to growing the movement, to pretty unique to most of the other people I see, out there in this space promoting this way of eating, and that is really on it's around focusing on finding better ways to communicate with other people, with our friends, with our family, in order to inspire curiosity, so that they too can be impacting their own lives. But I'm not going to talk too much about that. I'm going to let Peter tell the story about this. But Peter, before we dive into all things we did it.health, um, introduce yourself. Talk a little bit about who you are, your story, what brought you to this world of plant based living.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Karen. So, my my journey started with a program I did with Tony Robbins, and it was a weekend program. And at the end of the weekend, Tony had challenged us all to 10 days of being plant-based, being vegan, no alcohol, no tobacco. And I knew that I wanted to take some of that up, and I wasn't drinking, and I don't smoke. So what I really took away from that is to be vegetarian. So at that point, first night somebody offered me a chicken dinner, I turned it down and I never looked back. So I've been vegetarian for almost 20 years now, I suppose, and vegan plant-based for about 5 or 6. Now, up until recently, in most of my adult life, I've been uh, very overweight. My cholesterol, my triglycerides weren't just high, they were off the charts high. And I just never wanted to take medications for it, and I didn't. So finally, about 5, 6 years ago, when I found whole food plant-based lifestyle, um, I lost the weight that I needed to lose, and my triglycerides, my cholesterol came down to normal. So just by eating well, at my age, I'm 70 and I'm not on any meds. I'm running strong. I'm very energetic, and life is really good. And that's primarily my story. Now, in most of my adult life, I do extreme things. I backpacked the Grand Canyon, climbed the highest mountain in Colorado. I was doing all that, and I'd go to the gym all the time, but I just could not consistently lose weight and get closer to the weight that I should be. So finally, changing my diet, even with less exercise, I'm ashamed to say, I I dropped the weight, and it's just so magical. It's so powerful, and I feel so healthy and energetic, uh, being plant-based. And it's just amazing. The people I see in at all ages who are plant-based are looking youthful, being energetic, and being very productive in all that we do.
That's amazing. Was that Tony Robbins event that you went to? Was that UPW by any chance?
It it was
Yeah.
UPW.
Yeah, I've done that one too.
Yes,
Yeah, I
you've
think a
done it.
lot of
I've
yeah. Carry on.
Okay, yeah. Well, Tony Robbins had a huge influence on my life, and it's part of this work too. So and to me, what's something that's really important is our personal power, and that's in a big way what my work is about. I'd love to see people take charge of their lives, take on their power, take care of themselves. I mean, we all thrive. We all want to be happy and healthy, and rather than being at the effect of the culture, at the effect of advertising, at the effect of big corporations, we have our own power. We know what's good for us. We know what feels better, and we can have all that, and we can then live our lives empowered, live our lives making our own choices and being in charge of our lives. That's what we're meant to do.
Yeah, I love that message, and it's I blame Tony Robbins for me being a coach today too. I saw the power of his skills and being able to turn people around from being miserable and suddenly just changing their lives. And I thought I want that power too. And it was when I sort of went on the plant-based journey because of the skin cancer that I had, and then blended that with my desire to become a coach anyway, and it's sort of that's where I've landed. So yeah, I love Tony too, and it is, yeah, you're right, it's about taking ownership of our lives and taking our power back, and not
Absolutely.
allowing whatever's going on in the world out there to distract us from living the life that we want to live. So that's amazing. I love that UPW weekend as
Yeah.
well.
Thank you.
So, um, as you were changing your life, changing your diet, did you have any challenges along the way? Where did you? I know a lot of people that I speak to come up against family and friends who don't understand. They try to drag them back to their way of eating, and there's a lot of challenges out there that people face as they try and change their life and change their health. Did you experience any of that yourself? Mhm.
Absolutely. Yes, you bet. Like so many of us, I've had the frustrations of trying to show somebody else that there is a better lifestyle, a better diet. And it's just amazing to me. I mean, people in my life who are not healthy, who are overweight, who may be diabetic, cardiovascular disease, gut issues, just everything. And that's really the big thing is I've tried to help them find an alternative, and I'm to this day I'm not sure I know why yet, why they refuse it. And I was thinking maybe they think it's too good to be true, so it cannot be true. And they look at me when I talk about a doctor who can reverse cardiovascular disease, like Dr. Esselstyn, or the doctors who are reversing the type 2 diabetes just all the time. They look at me like I must be talking about some wacko doctor in a cave someplace. It's like this cannot be real. No Western doctor could possibly do anything but prescribe the right medications or the right procedures. And so that was very frustrating for me, and it still is.
Mhm.
Um, and that's really now my mission, is to do something about that.
Yeah, yeah. Is that perhaps that sort of those sorts of difficult conversations with people, is that kind of what sparked your idea or your desire to help others to change the way we
Absolutely.
did it? Yeah.
Exactly. So I'd have the conversations, and they look at me like this cannot possibly be. And then I realized that the magic of the whole food plant-based lifestyle, and at least for all the doctors and all the practitioners that are behind it, is that it's evidence-based. So
Mm.
that means that literally, and Dr. Greger's organization, their mission is to review all the nutritional studies. And I'm sure they've reviewed 100,000 studies by this point. I saw Dr. Greger talk about 5 years ago, and he said that they reviewed, I think, 27,000 studies that year, right? So if they're reviewing 27,000 studies a year and they're doing it for 10 years, I mean, there's a lot of studies
Mm.
out there that are showing the power of nutrition. And So it's amazing. And so I realized that we have all the scientific, medical, peer-reviewed, unbiased information, all this evidence, but the one piece of evidence that's actually missing is the numbers of people that are benefiting.
Okay.
So, right. So then in talking with other people about the solution to their suffering, I realized that, I'd love to tell somebody that, you're suffering with diabetes, you're grossly overweight, you don't have energy, you have aches and pains. Well, you know what? Here's a scoreboard that shows that 285,000 people were just like you, and they changed their diet and they reversed their diabetes. So with that concept came the scoreboard. So we have the scoreboard that's driven by a very simple one question survey and if you're plant-based and have benefited, then please come to weDIDit.health and answer the one question survey so we can show the world that this is real, that a plant-based solution has impacted and benefited so many people and so many more people. And so that really that's kind of a first talking point, so that when we talk to somebody who's diabetic or somebody who has cardiovascular disease or any of the, I don't know, 10, 15 different things that we have on that survey, they can see that other people are benefiting, and so that we want to inspire hope and curiosity, and that's what we're doing with the survey. So answer the one question survey if you've benefited from a plant-based lifestyle that we did at that health, and together we can show the world, and then use the scoreboard. At this point we have over 2,000 people who've participated in the scoreboard, and it's absolutely amazing the numbers of people that have benefited, and that's everything from cancer to clearing up skin issues to gut health to sleeping better, even sexual performance. It's just amazing the ways we benefit. And if you're watching this, if you are plant-based, you know what I'm talking about. And if you're plant-based yourself and you wanted to tell everybody you care about, uh, and they're not listening, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So
Mhm.
that's really our mission. How do we find better ways to more effectively inspire people that we care about, whether they're friends, relatives, or a new acquaintance? But we all, back to Tony Robbins, right? If you remember, Tony has defined the 6 human needs. So
Yes.
he's defined the 6 things that everybody needs in life, and he says the first 4 are about survival,
Mhm.
and the last 2 are about thriving,
Mhm.
and the 6th of the 6 human need is contribution.
Mhm.
And so we all have this need to contribute, and that's why we're so frustrated when somebody turns a deaf ear to us. So
Mhm.
we want to contribute, we care about other people, we care about somebody being healthier. And oh my God. And I mean, start talking about children and the obesity rate in children. I mean, it's just crazy what's going on. And we're all compassionate, caring people, and it hurts to see it.
When it's such an easy turnaround, really, it's just the food, and but it boggles me that there's so much. The solutions are so easy, and yet there's so many people who just either struggle or deny, don't even want to know. And I think, if we go back to why do people struggle, you were saying before, a lot of friends and family that you were talking to didn't even want to know, that they're unhealthy. You want to present them with the evidence. But the first human need is certainty. People want certainty. So I think what you're doing is showing a lot of evidence and showing other people who've done this. So, the human brain needs certainty. Um, but certainty is also about safety, and safety is about staying in the cave and not venturing out, not trying anything new. So there's that real tussle that goes on in the brain, and that's a lot of what I help people with as well. But yeah, so the weDIDit.health scoreboard, for anybody out there who has had an amazing, or any sort of transformation on a plant-based diet has had any sort of health benefits, go to that weDIDit.health. You'll be able to see Peter's name. Whoops, I'm just checking here on my phone. You can see the website there on his screen down the bottom, weDIDit.health. Go to the scoreboard there and answer that questionnaire. If we've got 2,000 people on that list, I know we can get that up. I'm going to put this I'm going to send this personally to all of my clients, particularly those who've had
Thank you.
massive health, benefits as a result of adopting a plant-based diet. I'm going to send it to them directly and go, hey, you need to fill this out as well. So
Yes.
watch out, everybody.
Yes.
Any of my clients who are watching. Yes, because I think, there's more than 2,000 people out there who have had the benefits of a plant-based diet. Way more than 2,000.
Absolutely.
It's probably in the hundreds of thousands,
Oh,
surely.
it's probably more than that. When you do the math on it, on one hand, it's really, really sad that, this truth about plant-based healing and food as medicine, it's an absolute truth, and it's been promoted since 1948 by the National Health Association. 1948. It was 40 years ago that Dr. Campbell proved that cancer cells thrive on animal protein and die from plant protein. So this is an absolute truth. I mean, just like if you drop a ball, it falls to the ground. If you eat whole food, plant-based, no added salt, sugar, and oil, you get healthier. It's an absolute truth. I mean, it's inconceivable that somebody would switch to a whole food, plant-based diet and they get sick. I mean, that's just inconceivable. So it's an absolute truth. Somebody changes their lifestyle, they'll get healthier. And this truth has been around for decades. And really, it's amazing that on one hand it's there, and then on the other hand, maybe 1% of the world population is whole food, plant-based. Maybe 3 to 5% of the world population is vegan. Some of them are healthy vegans, some aren't healthy vegans. But so what that says is we have 8 billion people in the world. So if 1% of the people are whole food, plant-based, that's 80 million people.
Yeah.
So the scoreboard, right? So getting the scoreboard up, and our first goal is to get to 1 million, and that's just that's hardly 1% of the people who are whole food, plant-based. So we can do this, and we can get those numbers, and then show those numbers to everybody, show them to our friends and loved ones, and then my vision is to have. And we have this ticker that runs across the screen, very much like a stock ticker. The dream is to put that up on a billboard in Times Square or some
Wow.
other huge billboard, right, running across the bottom, showing all the people that are benefiting. And yeah, it right. So let's get everybody's attention, because everybody can be healthier and happier, and then of course, as we do that, we need people like you, Karen, because you're a magnificent coach. You help people make the journey. I mean, it's not easy, it's not simple. There's tricks and really, there's a lot of habits to break, a lot of addictions, and some of those addictions are addictions and beliefs. Some of them are physical addictions. We know that the food industry, and there's books written about it. The food industry actually hires scientists to design food to be addicting. And they have the formula. So the right amount of salt, sugar, and oil make it so we can't stop eating it. So you can't eat just one potato chip. And the fast food chains have it figured out. They know just exactly how to configure the chemistry, and it's the chemistry of the food, so that we buy a huge Coke to go with it, and a large fry, and another burger, and they have it down to science, and it's addicting, and we need coaches like you to help us get out of that and get through that, and because on the other side of those addictions is feeling really great.
Yeah, absolutely. I always say that the pain is just the pain of change. It's not the part that's hard is just doing something new. Whole food plant based itself, the end goal is not hard, but it's that process of change that's hard. But I always liken change to like learning to drive a car, learning to ride a bike. How hard was it in the early days when you were just starting, right? Or learning a new computer system. I mean, I think about when I'm trying to learn a new computer system or a new way of doing something. I get cranky. I don't like it. I want to quit. But I know that I have to persist because at the end of the day, it's going to save me time, it's going to save me effort, it's going to be so much more beneficial to my life, right? So, change in any way is like that. The brain doesn't like change. So, if we can get support and help during that time, while it's painful, so that we stay on track, so that we learn how to do things in a systematic order, then it just makes that process of change so much easier as well. So yeah, I love what you're doing. I love the idea of getting the scoreboard to 1 million people to start with, because that's really going to get people's attention. I think when I talk to people about how many people have reversed heart disease, reversed type 2 diabetes, I would like to be able to give them numbers, right? Instead of just like, oh, thousands of people have, changed their life on a plant-based diet. I'd like to actually have specifics as well, because I think that's where people, they want that certainty. They want to know that, okay, if I do this, it's going to have this result. So that scoreboard is going to be, particularly when you get those numbers up to, the somewhere close to where the true numbers of people who have been impacted by plant-based diet, when you get them up there, it's going to have a massive impact on people's belief that this can actually work.
Absolutely.
So talk to us about what else weDIDit.health is doing at the moment.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. It's probably my favorite subject to talk about. So I'm happy to talk about it. In a sense, part of what we're doing is, you're helping people make the change. And once somebody changes, they get elated and they love how they feel, and they love everything about their lives. And then we all want to tell everybody else about it. So really our focus is, the scoreboard is just the first talking point. Our mission, our work is to find better ways to communicate so people listen. So we have a 3-part strategy, and the 3 parts are, so our first part is to find better ways to communicate. So how do we listen better? How do we find the appropriate things to talk about? How do we detect when somebody doesn't want to hear it anymore and stop talking? So we believe that what we need to do, and what we are doing, is we're bringing experts from other disciplines to the table. So we're not so much focused on anything that has to do with nutrition or exercise or better sleep, or those are all beautiful things, and there's lots of wonderful experts like yourself teaching it and doing the research. But we're bringing in the other experts so that we can learn better ways to present this information, and so that we can plant those seeds. So if we all plant seeds for somebody that who hasn't heard about being plant-based, then sooner or later, 6 or 8 of us talk to somebody and show them something about it. Sooner or later, they'll say, wow, maybe there's something here, so that we can inspire curiosity, for somebody who's suffering to inspire hope. So for us, we look to people like you, Karen, to do the work and to do the coaching. Our mission is to get somebody curious and then pass them on to the coaches and the doctors and the yoga studios and the chefs and the magnificent people who are there to do the support. So we're very focused on finding better communication skills so that we can understand somebody, communicate better with them, is the first of our 3 pillars. The second is to help curate information. And information curation means really just packaging the information. So for example, if we're talking with somebody, I had a recent experience. I was on an airplane flight, and we were wearing masks, so it was hard to have a conversation. But I found out that this lady sitting next to me was a pediatrician. So of course I asked her if she's familiar with plant-based medicine, and she wasn't. Right? So what an opportunity I had. She was captive. She couldn't leave. So she was a captive audience. But just all kidding aside, it was such an opportunity to give her an introduction, to be able to show her a couple things. So I wish I had something with me that, something that's put together by another doctor, by a pediatrician. And the question is, so to the pediatrician who's plant-based. So, if you run into a doctor who's not plant-based, what are the few things, information that you share with them? What are the success stories you would share? What's the research you would share? So I wish at that point, I had the right information to share. So that's what I mean about curating information. So to be able to have the best information targeted to the person we're talking with available at the moment. And then the third part of our work now is we're building a community for what we're calling the grassroots ambassadors. So anybody who's a consumer, not a professional like yourself, but a consumer like myself, a consumer who's benefited, we want to see a community so that we can get support, so we can get guidance, so we have a place that we can go to get ideas. So the vision, the dream is that, let's say a scenario where I run into my best friend from high school. I haven't seen him in years, and I run into him and he says, I'm scheduled for bypass surgery in 3 weeks. Right? So I'd love to have a support group, a community where I can come back and say, what, my best friend, and here's what I know about him. He's scheduled for surgery. Help me find a strategy that maybe I can save him from having to have surgery, right? So the community, so the programs, the presentations, the live events, all of that in a community, so we can support each other as we're all out on this mission to help create curiosity and hope for a healthier lifestyle.
Oh, that's amazing. I love the whole lot of it. I think all of it is so important, particularly around helping um, other health professionals, and give them curated information. I think that is really important. But also, like, I love the part about helping everybody in society learn how to spark that curiosity within their own networks. Because I think, a lot of us, when we come on this journey, the first thing we want to do is just talk everyone's ear off and, like, you've got to do this. It feels so amazing. Look at all the things that have happened to me. And I was like, oh my God. And then all these other people over here. And it's like, you've got to do it. Right.
Right.
And everyone goes, wall up, go away.
Go away. You're
Don't
not
want to hear
invited to
about it.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
stay in my pain over here. La, da, 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 da. So, how do we spark that curiosity with people instead of just talking at them? How do we lead them? How do we be an inspiration to them, and get them following us instead of trying to push them. I think that's probably one of the ways that I would describe it. I really love that, and that's something that I want to help my people do as well, because I think, all of my clients who come to see me, they've come to me to help them to do it, and then I want to help them become leaders as well. So I think I'm going to be, tapping into a lot of the information that you provide, to teach them as well how to spark interest in people instead of, just, pushing their lifestyle on other people. And I'm also going to get them to have a look at your information and be part of the I'm going to push them into weDIDit.health. weDIDit.health.
Well, yes.
I'll encourage them to get on board,
Encourage them.
so that
Yeah.
so that they too can have the impact. Like, some of my clients have had um, amazing impacts on their immediate family already. Like, they've got kids who have just naturally started to walk away from animal products and processed foods and things like that, and just because they've been curious about what mum's been eating. Their partners, their
Beautiful.
husbands, are also, one of my ladies, her husband was just like a junk food eater basically, and now he's curious about plant-based eating as well, because he's seen the impact it's had on her, and he's tasted the food and he's like, oh, I think I can do this. So yeah, I love that. So it's about how we become uh, I guess ambassadors in our own way. We all become ambassadors in our own way, and spark that curiosity within others. Love it.
Absolutely.
So, apart from just going to the scoreboard, Peter, and plugging in their own, I guess, benefits or their own results from a plant-based diet, what can other people do to really get behind this movement of yours?
Beautiful. Thank you for asking that. So when somebody comes to the score to answer the one question survey, we also invite them to leave their success stories. So if you come to do the survey, please be ready to leave your success story so you can inspire other people with that. And so whether you do or not, you end up on our list. So we will share information with you. We invite you to be part of our community. So by answering the one question survey, you become part of the community. And of course, you can opt out anytime. Um, and then we have a gift for you. So our free gift to people for answering the survey question is an ebook. And our ebook is 7 best practices to inspire our loved ones to become plant-based. And this ebook was written by Dr. Angela Crawford, who's a psychologist. She's been a practicing psychologist for decades now. She's well experienced. She's vegan herself, and she's very passionate about this. So we asked her to write the ebook, and as the next step, as kind of a first step to start getting familiar with concepts of better practices. How do we listen better? How do we meet somebody where they are? Things like that. So definitely read the ebook when you get it. And then in a sense, everything else we're doing is based on that. So we want to drill down and look at getting more efficient and finding other practices, and that's our mission. So by joining the community, you'll have that. And what we've done now is we're ready to launch, and this is so exciting. It's coming up on June 23rd. We have a live event where the participants will actually be certified as plant-based ambassadors. And what that means is we have more content, a little more learning, more practicing, because our mission is to have the consumers, the ambassadors, us who want to go out and inspire other people to hope and curiosity. So many of us who've been doing this for a while, we have shut down. We know that if we speak up, odds are pretty high that we'll just turn somebody away. So there are better ways of doing this, and we're wanting to share those, find those, share those, and then by being certified, we're saying, you know what, step into the world a little bit differently. Step into the world knowing that you can, in fact, inspire somebody to change their lives. And you don't have to like turn somebody overnight and have them do anything drastic, but it's a success to plant a seed. It's a success to meet somebody who's never heard of being plant-based, and tell them, give them a little piece of information. So for example, I recently went for a hike, and I was at the trailhead of the parking lot, and this man comes back from a run. He had an amazing trail run, and we started talking about it. And so I asked him, well, are you plant-based? And of course he wasn't, and he didn't really know anything about it. Well, what's the best thing to tell him? Well, he's into working out. So I suggested to him that he watch the Game Changers. But again, for us, it used to be that I just didn't want to risk saying anything. So as a certified ambassador, our hope is that more people will have that courage, will have that confidence, will step into a role of confidently and comfortably spreading the word. And again, it's just, just planting one seed, just telling somebody who's an athlete that inviting them to watch the Game Changers. I mean, that's a seed. So maybe he will, maybe he won't, but then maybe next week somebody else will say something to him. And then the week after somebody else will say something to them. And then he'll go to the grocery store and see something that's plant-based and healthier. And so sooner or later it will click. Sooner or later he'll see it enough times and he'll say, there's something here. Yeah, maybe I'll go watch the Game Changers, or maybe I'll try and read this book, or maybe I'll watch this video and start more people on their journey. So
Yeah.
being a certified ambassador is meant to give us the confidence, give us the tools, learn more about the 7 best practices, look at other practices, and find better information. They'll have easy access to the right information. And so we're doing the certification program. We're doing that on June 23rd with our live event, which is in person in Cleveland, Ohio, in the States, as well as online. And then we're recording it. We're packaging a certification program. We'll be packaging that and launching that soon after. But our goal is to get more people who are benefiting to then be more confident, have more information, be supported, then the community, so we can support each other as we're doing these things. And together we can move the movement. Together we can make a difference and get the traction this movement deserves.
Yeah, together we are powerful, right? We think, what difference can I on my own make? But believe me, if you just set out with a little bit of a mission to touch a few other people around you, before you know it, you've got your own little movement happening, or massive movement in your
Absolutely.
case.
And so, it's we want to influence and inspire the people we care about. And we're all compassionate people, and we all care about about the people in our lives, and we care about their suffering or their joy and happiness. And one of the great benefits, we are also pretty much alone. We don't have, very rarely have the community that we could have, that we should have, the community that people who aren't plant-based have, because they do a lot of eating together and eating the wrong foods and celebrating and events and all kinds of things. Well, imagine that we get to a world where there's as many plant-based people, we have as many plant-based friends as non-plant-based. I mean, how will that world be, right? As we can go to any restaurant and be able to get a really great healthy meal.
Oh my God, wouldn't that be amazing? But it needs
Well,
all
it
of
will
us
be.
to work together to make it happen, right?
And
It
we
needs
need,
all of us, stepping up and saying to restaurants, stepping up and saying to people, hey, I need this option. Hey, we need these options. That's
right? And then, the restaurant is there to make money, and which means that they're there to do what the consumer wants. So enough of us want good, healthy, tasty meals, restaurants will find a way to give it to us. And then we can be with our plant-based friends having a great time eating awesome foods in restaurants.
Yeah, 100%. I look forward to that day too. And, I think if people looked hard enough, in most areas, well, in a lot of areas around the world, there is some sort of local plant-based community. I know here in Melbourne, there is one. Can't remember what they're called now. Plant Powered Melbourne, I think. And there's another little group, just even in my little neighbourhood, and my local neighborhoods right here. They're trying to get a group of people together to do regular potlucks. So it is out there. Just even just go on, if you've got a local Facebook group, go on and say, where's all my plant-based people, and you'll have all these people coming out of the woodwork, and suddenly you have new friends in your local neighborhood.
Absolutely.
And you can meet people, and you can start a new movement in your local neighborhood, and have people to hang out with as well. So
Absolutely. And together we want to inspire more people to join the group and get healthy and eat healthy. And of course, we've been talking so much about our health here in this conversation, but and I started in this movement and I changed my lifestyle for health.
mm,
And it took a while for me to in this current work that I'm doing is when I finally found it
yeah,
to really see the animal suffering.
yeah,
I mean, the animal suffering is atrocious. It's absolutely terrible, and for us to participate in that kind of suffering, and then one of our partners is Dr. Salish Rao, and his organization's Climate Healers, and he's a leader in climate change and solutions for climate change. And for all three reasons for climate change, it's all about being plant-based and looking to see, what we've done to the planet, how we've destroyed the Amazon to graze cows and the methane and what animals do and the water. I mean, all the water it takes to raise animals. And I mean, what I heard is, takes 25 gallons of 2,500 gallons of water to get a pound of meat.
it's
Uh,
crazy, isn't it? When there's so
it's amazing, and if you go, so on our site, weDIDit.health, you can go to a page that's the scoreboard. And on the scoreboard page, you can see that. So everybody who's not plant-based takes an animal life every day.
yeah,
Okay. Takes lots of water. It takes a lot more grain to feed animals than to feed people. I mean, we can end world hunger if everybody would be plant-based. There would be no world hunger. The grain that we're feeding the cows, we can be feeding people. There
mm,
would be nobody starving.
yeah.
I mean, it's amazing, and it's so powerful,
If we can
so
feed,
important.
what is it, 80 billion animals or something like that, if we can, or there's some crazy amount of, no, it must be more than that. However many billions of animals, if we've got enough feed to feed them, then we've got enough feed to feed 8 billion people, right?
Absolutely.
um,
Absolutely. It's shown that it's proven that if we stop feeding animals to eat meat, we can feed everybody in the world. Nobody would be starving.
yeah, there's so many benefits to a plant-based diet that it just seems like, the madness to not adopt this way of eating. And so, one day I'm hoping that everybody in the world catches up, and people start to think about more than just themselves, and start to think about the impact that they can have on other people, the impact they can have on the planet, the impact that's beyond them. That's the contribution, that we all want to make to the world. So
Mm.
when we get out of our own heads, stop worrying about our own little dramas that are going on, and start thinking about things from a bigger perspective, and how we can contribute in that way. It really you really come down to, well, I need to be you need to be plant based in order to really make or have a big contribution to the world and what's going on at the moment. So yeah, hopefully one day people will step outside of worrying about themselves, and really truly want to help and contribute to others. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so you've got the certification, or the summit coming up on the 23rd. Is there anything else coming up that you would like other folks to know about?
Yeah, you know what? Our team is so busy working so hard night and day. We have such an amazing team putting all this together. And
Yeah.
yeah, our next big thing is to create a great summit and certification program. And certification program I need to mention is being created based on Dr. Angela Crawford's ebook that she wrote for us, and it's being developed by another doctor, and Sally Lipsky. Dr. Sally Lipsky is developing the program. She Her doctorate, she's a professor. Her doctorate is in education. So again, she's doing an amazing job. I hope everybody will sign up for this program. And and I need to say we priced it so it's affordable, absolutely affordable for everybody. So we're bringing an all-day event where we have, what do we have? We have 4 or 5 doctors, and only one of them is an MD. So everybody else is psychology and education. So we're bringing in people from other expertise too, from other disciplines. And so a full day of that content, plus the certification and the 3-month membership in our community, all of that for $47.
Oh, wow.
So
That's good.
yes, that's a great value. And then we're setting it up so that you're welcome to bring somebody else in, and by bringing somebody else in, we give you credit back on your ticket. So really, just by attending and bringing a couple friends, you can be attending at no cost. So it's going to be amazing. It's going to be exciting. Then after that, we'll have the community will always be available to join. The certification program will be evergreen, so it will be available for somebody to walk through on their own, and everything we're doing. So after this event, we're going to look for other ways to keep doing more of the same. I think that encapsulates everything in our mission. Our mission is about better communications, better information curation, and creating a community. And with this event, we're launching all 3. And so we're just going to do more of the same and dig deeper. And we have a live call every second Saturday of the month. The next one in June is going to be with the leadership coach. And it's just going to be absolutely amazing. So we're digging into all these other skills so that, it's the nutrition. We have that covered so well with people like you, Karen, and the amazing doctors. But what's missing, what we thought is really missing is everything else, is all the communication skills, all being able to present the right information at the right time, and supporting each other.
Yeah.
So if anybody's interested in attending the summit, you can go to weDIDit.summits.com, and that URL will take you to our sign up sheet. And until as of today, May 20th, we're a couple days away from being live with our page. So, but if you go to it now, you'll get on our wait list so that we can notify you immediately when the sign up page is available.
Just posted it for people. And
thank you.
Jeff's posted your weDIDit.health link as well. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you. Who's that?
Jeff Tritton. He's posted your weDIDit.health website.
Oh, perfect. Hi, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. Okay, beautiful. Well, we will need to wrap up soon, Peter, but do you have any sort of last words of advice or something for people either wanting to make the change, step into it easily, or in terms of communicating clearer to their loved ones, or being an inspiration? What sort of advice would you give? What's your big 3 pieces of advice?
The big 3 pieces of advice. Well, I think
just 3.
Just 3, and not any advice, but the big ones.
Yeah,
the really big ones. Well, I don't know if I can do that, but I'll see what I can come up with. But really, it's it's an absolute truth. We get so excited about it, and we really have to remember that our excitement, other people don't see what we're so excited about, and they feel pushed away. And that's what my advice is to stay away from situations where people push you away. So be really careful how you're communicating this message. You be tuned in, watch the other person's reaction. If they're pulling back, then back off. Don't keep going. And I guess the second one is is look for the cracks. So look for the opportunities. Just show up, and if they say, I'm feeling so tired, or my joints are aching, or I have this challenge or that challenge, that's a crack. That's an opportunity to say something. But say something and watch. Uh, be be aware of their reaction, and don't push. And then, of course, the third thing would be plant seeds. So just look for those opportunities to say the right thing to the right person, meaning, meaning be able to show them what they're talking about. Another example in my life is I went for a dental appointment, and as I'm sitting down in the dental chair, the technician says, "So what do you do?" And so I say, "Well, I advocate for healthy eating." And she says, "Oh, that's so hard to do." Right? I mean, what an opportunity to just say a little something, and not necessarily be confrontational, and again, it's having the information. So at that moment, I wish I had something that I could say to her, "What kind of food do you like? Here's a couple really great recipes that aren't hard to make, that are delicious, that are healthy." So looking for the opportunities to plant the right seeds and having those seeds available.
Amazing. Yeah, I love that. Very, very sound advice. And it's always just being aware of where those opportunities are, but also aware of how the other person is responding to what you're saying. Do they feel open or do they feel closed? And yeah,
Exactly.
just playing to the situation. Well,
Absolutely.
thank you, Peter. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you today. I don't think I saw any questions in here. No, I didn't see any questions in here, so that's all good. We will wrap up now, but yeah, it's been a pleasure chatting to you today, and hearing all about what you and the weDIDit.health team are up to. And I'm going to do my best to be there on June 23rd live, even if it means that I am getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning to be there. I know I haven't been able to be at the regular Saturday meetings because it's about 3 o'clock a.m. my time. But this is an important event, and I really would like to hear what the experts have to say, and because there's always room for improvement, there's always room for learning. I think so. Yeah, I'm going to do whatever I can to be there on that day, and
Thank you.
yeah, and I love the work that you and the team are doing, and support you greatly. And so everybody, get onto that weDIDit.health scoreboard. If you have had whatever changes in your body, changes in your health, changes in everything that you have experienced from going plant-based, please jump in there and note that, because this is a really important project that is going to help inspire others out there, particularly those who want facts. All right, so jump onto it. The link is in the comment. And if anyone's watching this on YouTube, weDIDit.health, you'll see it in Peter's little screen name down here at the bottom left. So thank you so much, and we will no doubt hear from you and talk to you again soon, Peter.
I look forward to it. Absolutely. This has been such a pleasure to be with you.
Okay.
And so I'd like to show you something that I've recently learned, and it's kind of, a lot of people have said to me, especially from the vegan community, that we need a secret vegan handshake.
Oh yeah.
So here's my answer to that. It's namaste.
Namaste.
Vegan.
Vegan. I love it. I haven't a little bit like Rip Esselstyn's signature, isn't it? I don't know what it is. I can't remember what he says, but it's something like peace, engine 2, plant strong, or something like that. I'm not sure exactly, because I haven't seen him do it. I just hear it on his podcast the whole time. So I love it. Namaste, vegan. All right, I love it. Okay, let's do it together.
Namaste,
Vegan.
vegan.
Beautiful.
Well, thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Peter. See you later.
Bye-bye.